Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. So today I have my update for Expand the Pan. So this is a project where you roll in shades that already have pan from your collection, and for me my goal is to use each of them 5 times. So I am working on 3 shades at a time within this project, and I have those palettes stacked up here, so I will go through my progress on these. If you saw last month's update, you know my progress was very low, so I did try to push myself to get some rollouts this month, so we can get into today's update. But before we do, if you would consider subscribing, I would really appreciate it. I post a lot of eyeshadow content, different projects, talking about my palettes, different tutorials, so if that interests you, definitely subscribe and we can get into the update. So my first shade comes from my e.l.f. Retro Paradise palette, and I was working on Sea Salt. So Sea Salt is this white shimmer shade over here. I don't even know if you can see the pan in this right now, but hopefully the close-ups will show you a little bit of progress from this shade. I have now used this the 5 times, so I will be rolling this shade out, which I'm super happy about. This is not my favorite shade. I find it to be a little bit more on the chunky side, which just isn't my personal favorite shimmer formula, but it's still pretty nice. I use it a lot in my inner corner. I feel like that's pretty much how I used it every time I reached for this shade, so I am definitely happy to have gotten a handful more uses out of this shade, and I am definitely ready to roll something new in its place. Alright, next up we have my Essence Salute Paris palette, and I was working on shade number 7. So that is this pink shimmer right here, and I think you can see there is a nice big pan in this shade. I really love this one. It is a perfect everyday lid shade. This is a really nice soft color story for everyday looks, so I don't really have to think too much when I reach into this palette. I do feel like I kind of go for the same look each time, but it's just so pretty and so soft, and I really enjoy it. So I have reached for this one the 5 times as well. So this one will be rolling out, which I am super excited about. I do still need to keep reaching for this palette. I was really hoping I would be able to get pan on this shade with reaching for the one next to it, but I'm still not at pan on that one, and I really want to hit that one before the end of the year. So I am going to keep working on this on the side, but I am really happy that you can see such a nice size pan in this shade so far, and I have just really enjoyed reaching for this one. Like I said, a super nice everyday palette for me, so really happy with the progress I have made on this palette this past month. Alright, then the last palette I have been working on is my Huda Beauty Desert Dusk palette, and I have been working on the shade Twilight. So Twilight is this purple shimmer right here, and I had not reached for this at all last month, so I have only reached for it 3 times, so I'm not quite to my goal yet. I still have 2 more uses, but I'm excited to keep this shade in and keep this palette in. There are a few shades in here that have really nice dips that I would like to get pan on, and I am hoping that I will be able to continue to show progress on those as I finish out my uses with Twilight. This is another shade that isn't my favorite formula. It's a bit on the drier side. It takes a little bit of building up, but the actual color of it is super pretty. It has a little bit of a blue shift to it, and I do really enjoy the color of it. The formula just isn't my absolute favorite, but it's still been fun to work on, and I do still have a couple more uses to go on it. So I am excited to keep this one in and keep working on it. So this does mean I have 2 new shades to roll in, and Twilight will be staying into this project. So I have my Pretty Random app set from 1 to 75. I do have a few more pans in my collection, but I don't want to roll in shades that I have just hit pan on within the last month, so I am going to wait to roll those in next month. So right now I have 1 to 75, and I will just re-roll if I get a shade that has already been in this project. So we can go ahead and roll in. Number 1 is up first. That comes from my ColourPop. It's a Princess Thing palette, and it is the shade Fairy Godmother. I am super excited about that one. And next we have shade number 29, which comes from my Ulta Ravenclaw palette, and it is the shade Bow Battens. So I'm going to go grab both of those and be right back. Alright, I'm back with my 2 new palettes. So we can talk about It's a Princess Thing first. So if you've been on my channel for a while, you know that this palette was in many projects towards the beginning of the year. I took a break from it, and I'm really happy to be getting back to it. I absolutely love this palette. If you've heard me talk about it, you know that it is my favorite palette within my collection. And I am going to be working on the shade Fairy Godmother, which is this corally pinkish shade in the center. I absolutely love it. I think it'll be really nice to see a bigger pan in that shade. And I'm also trying to hit pan on chip currently, so this will give me a good opportunity to get a few more uses on that shade as well. And I will be able to work on this whole palette, which is super exciting. Again, I just absolutely love this palette, and I am so excited to bring it back in. I haven't worked on it for a while. I haven't really used it in a while, so this will be a really good opportunity to do so. Then our second and final palette rolling in is my Ulta Ravenclaw palette, and I will be working on Bow Battens, which is this light blue shimmer up in the corner. I am super excited about this. This was the first pan that I hit in this palette, so I haven't truly focused on it in a while, so it will be really nice to bring this back out, work on it a little bit more. Going into the winter months, I think will be a really good time to reach for this palette with the kind of icy blue shades, some nice neutrals, so I'm definitely excited. I really do love this palette, so I am really looking forward to getting some good use on this shade and on this palette as a whole. So these are the 3 palettes I will be working on for at least the next update. I will hopefully get Twilight rolled out and hopefully get some good progress at least on the 2 new roll-ins. So I'm really looking forward to this little selection of shades and the palettes themselves that I'm going to be working on. Let me know what you guys thought of this update, what you think of this project. Give it a thumbs up if you did enjoy. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on any future uploads. And with all of that said, I will see you in my next video. Bye!